Dan Mark here with Bearcast Media. This is Woody Goldsmith from the News Record. We just saw a few films based around Green Day's new achievements. The first film is a documentary based on their Broadway musical, Marque and Idiot. The second film is called Cuatro. It's based on their new series of albums. American Idiot, or Broadway Idiot, rather. What did you think?
I liked Broadway Idiot. I am a huge fan of American Idiot, the musical, and I am not ashamed to say that I'm a pretty big fan of the American Idiot album. I think that it was interesting to see like kind of the genesis of the idea and like how they got the band to like get behind the project and how they got to like stage it and the process of getting to Broadway. The only thing that I would say about this movie is that I wish it had kind of been longer. Like it was like 80 minutes. Mm-hmm. I wish that they had focused a lot more on like the challenges of doing this, like getting.
Yeah, there wasn't much conflict in the movie. It was all just like this. Well, first of all, it starts off right when like the cast has already been set.
Right.
We already have a producer. It's not a director and all that jazz. It's just like they throw us into it, which is fine, but. I think you said this too when we were talking about it afterwards. Mm-hmm. You wish that there could have been like more involvement with how do they get the cast, and what was Green Day's like initial thoughts on everything.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting. I learned actually a little bit about the American Idiot album, which is probably one of my favorite Green Day albums, and so that was cool for me. And I didn't know anything about the Broadway musical going into this, so it made me, potentially want to go see it afterwards. Yeah. That was a big thing. It was interesting to see John Gallagher Jr., I didn't realize was the lead in American Idiot, who was also the star in a former film that we saw this weekend, Short Term 12. So
yeah, I just wish that, when he was saying when the movie starts, we have the cast, we've got everything pretty much all set up, and they start with the meeting with Green Day, and I just wanted to see them initially talk with Green Day and see their kind of reactions, because it seemed like they were kind of
skeptical.
Hesitant, hesitant to kind of do the idea, and they were the Broadway people were really nervous, or the musical people, the people behind the musical,
right? They
were nervous that they might not be into it, and I just think that it would have been really interesting to see their initial reaction, which I guess that they couldn't have gotten because. How would they have known to go there? But I don't know. I just think that there could have been more in the process of getting everything ready, and I wish that there had been more. But I still liked it. I just wish there had been an extra 30 minutes just to go beyond what we had already seen.
Yeah, maybe before what we saw.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah. So overall, I liked that movie.
Yeah. The second movie we saw was again called Cuatro. It's based on their new series of albums, which are called Uno, Dos, and Tres. The movie is essentially a documentary that shows the genesis of some of the ideas that go into the albums. I thought that this movie was very similar to another movie that I've seen called Let It Be, which is a movie about the Beatles recording Let It Be. Obviously, it's a lot of them performing and then only a little bit of them talking. I wish that there had been more of them talking.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't like this one. It for me, it just felt like one big advertisement for their new album, which, there was a lot of them playing out live. You would listen to whole songs, which is fine because they're trying to promote this new album. But at the end of the day, I'm more interested in the story behind how they created the album. And for me, I don't know this new album. I've never heard it. So it's kind of years to come, maybe I will enjoy it more as this album becomes more popular. But I think I liked the American Idiot documentary more because I'm familiar with that music, and I wanted to see more about how that came together. So
yeah, I think listening to these three albums would be really interesting. I know my brother is really into Green Day, and I think that he would have really enjoyed it because he knows all the songs, and it would be interesting to see all of them perform live, or some of them, or most of them. But I think that this one just kind of it was just that it was kind of like an infomercial for the albums, which is again fine, but I just didn't think it really fit into the documentary category.
Yeah, it didn't. For some reason, it didn't feel like a filmic documentary for me. But
no, I can see that.
It was interesting with how many people showed up though. There was the theater was packed full. I mean, it was a 4,000 seat theater.
I was surprised that so many people still liked Green Day.
1,200. 1,200.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was surprised because Green Day actually did show up at the very beginning of the screening, which was really cool. They got a standing O. I thought it was really interesting just to see them, like, and we got to see the directors, and it was interesting to hear from them. But again, I would have liked to see more from both films.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So overall, I think it was a fun experience, but we would have just liked to have seen a little bit more behind the scenes stuff about how they created this. And
yeah.
But overall, decent set of documentaries.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more.